Hey y'all. So, one season that I always like to talk about in this study and at this particular point in the study is the dormant season. The verse, the reference that I was looking for is actually Isaiah 60:22, and it just, the Amplified is different than any of the other translations when I was looking it up. But it is, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. And it's Isaiah 60:22. And actually, the whole verse says, the least one shall become 1,000, and the small one a strong nation. I, the Lord, will hasten in its appointed time. Will hasten it in its appointed time. So I will make it happen when it's time. And the dormant season is one that most of us don't like to really talk about, or we don't like to think that we're in a dormant season, or we feel dead. Even in the wintertime and everything looks brown and it looks dead, there's a lot going on under the surface, and we must have dormant seasons in order to be able to have the spring and the summer and the harvest. The seasons of dormancy are for our protection. They are preparation for where we're headed next. So if you feel like you're in a season of dormancy, take it, Selah, rest in it. There is a purpose in the dormant season. Actually, just thinking about it makes me long for one, or at least one, dormant day. So the dormant season is a time for building a plant's infrastructure. It's a time of rest and restoration. It's preparing the plant for the fruit that it will bear. This season is crucial to the plant's survival. During dormancy, the roots grow, or they continue to grow and thrive, stretching deeper and storing nutrients. While the preparation is happening, the fruit of the plant is protected from the harsh elements of the outside world. It is kept hidden until the proper and more favorable time. You think about that. All of the trees that are bare. And we talked about my peach trees last week, that they bloomed too soon and the frost got them. And so we are to stay in that season of dormancy and protection until the time is right for our growth and harvest. Dormant is not dead. Dormant is very much alive and very much preparing for the days ahead. It's also during a dormant season that pruning is done. I've heard so many ministers or preachers or teachers talk about the pruning that's going to hurt. If if he's taking something away from you, he's pruning you. And God never intends to hurt us. That's first of all. Our view of God has to be consistent. And the God that I know, the God that I have met in this word, is not a God that is going to do anything to my detriment. And pruning doesn't happen in the height of producing or the height of the growth season. Pruning is to happen in dormant season, so that the growth, the buds, the blooms, the fruit, the harvest are protected from the pruning. And so while we are in a time of rest, while we don't have leaves and fruit hanging off of our branches, it's easy to hear the Father, the vine dresser, speak to us as to what is weighing us down and draining the life out of us. This is the time to remove those things from our lives before we move into the next season of growing and producing. So if you find yourself in a season of dormancy, pause, rest, and ask the Father what needs to be pruned. This is the time for pruning. And we'll pick up here tomorrow and dig a little bit deeper into those vines and dressing and the vine dresser. Bye, y'all.